Imagine a silence so profound it has weight. Now imagine a wind so sharp it can cut through steel. This is the soundtrack to the end of the world. On a frozen morning at minus 70 degrees Celsius, a simple decision is made. Not in a war room, by a general, but in the heart of a lone engineer. The decision to open a door and step out into a world that is actively trying to kill you. This isn't just another day at the office. This is one of humanity's most demanding and least understood psychological experiments. Welcome to Antarctica. For the small crew of the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, the sun has already set for the last time this season. It will not rise again for 6 long months. But the physical darkness outside is nothing compared to the one they might find lurking inside their own minds. Antarctica, a continent of ice larger than Europe, yet it belongs to no single nation. It is governed by a remarkable international treaty, a global promise dedicating this entire landmass to peace and to science. Here, on the front lines of climate research and astronomy, nations that are rivals elsewhere work as partners. The people who come here are the elite. World-class scientists, brilliant engineers, skilled doctors. They're chosen not just for their minds, but for their fortitude. During the brief, frantic summer, the station buzzes with up to 150 people. But this activity is a fleeting illusion. When the last plane takes off in February, its engines fading into the infinite white, it signals the beginning of the true test. Only a skeleton crew of around 45 people remains behind. They are now the most isolated human beings on planet Earth. The word isolated barely does it justice. There is no chance of rescue. No flights in or out, no matter the emergency. A medical crisis, a catastrophic failure, they are entirely on their own. It's a commitment more absolute than that of astronauts in orbit, who can at least see the world they left behind. This is why every candidate is subjected to a punishing gauntlet of psychological and physical screenings. The tests search for more than just skills. They search for an unshakable resilience. They're looking for the ability to bend without breaking. But how do you truly prepare for the silence? How do you prepare to see the exact same 44 faces every single day for 8 months in a place where one wrong step outside means a swift, frozen death? The truth is, you can't. The day begins at 6 a.m. in the heart of a night that will last for thousands of hours. An engineer, let's call him Alex, has a routine task: calibrate a cosmic ray telescope located a kilometer from the main station. The work itself is familiar, a series of checks and adjustments he could do in his sleep. But the environment is the variable that changes everything. Every second spent outside is a calculated battle against physics. The extreme cold doesn't just feel unpleasant, it's a predator. It attacks any exposed skin within a minute. It makes metal brittle and tools difficult to handle with thick, clumsy gloves. And slowly, subtly, the isolation begins to wage its own war. It's a psychological siege. Psychologists who study these extreme environments call it the third quarter effect. It's a predictable slump in morale that occurs midway through the mission. The initial excitement has worn off, and the end is still too far away to be a comfort. It's in this deep, monotonous trough that the human mind begins to fray. Small, everyday annoyances become magnified into unbearable provocations. The colleague who hums off-key. The person who leaves a cup in the sink. In the outside world, these are trivial. In the crushing pressure cooker of an Antarctic winter, they can feel like a personal attack, an existential threat. Your mind, starved for new stimulus, latches onto these details and blows them out of all proportion. The real conflict isn't for power or status. It is silent, desperate war for personal space, for a moment of peace, for sanity itself. You can't just go for a walk to clear your head. Clearing your head outside means risking your life. You can't escape to your room because your room is a tiny cabin barely larger than a closet. You are trapped, trapped with the others, and, most unforgivingly, trapped with your own thoughts. It is in this state of mental fatigue that the real danger emerges. A momentary lapse in focus, a flicker of distraction, leads to a physical mistake. And here, in the most hostile place on Earth, there is no margin for error. Then it happens. A shrill alarm cuts through the low hum of the station. Piercing. Urgent. Red lights flash down the sterile corridors. Level 1 alert. Power failure in Sector Gamma. This is not a drill. Sector Gamma powers the lifeblood of the station, the heating systems and the water purifiers. This is more than an inconvenience. At minus 70 degrees, a research station without heat is no longer a shelter. It rapidly becomes a multi-million-dollar metal tomb. The simmering, unspoken tensions that have been building for months are instantly vaporized, replaced by a single, unifying focus. And Alex, our engineer, is still outside. The crisis is no longer just a psychological game of endurance. It has become a raw, physical race against time and temperature. A sudden storm, a whiteout, has descended, erasing the world in a swirling vortex of snow. The difference between the ground and the sky vanishes. The path back to the station, a simple line of flags, is now invisible. He is tethered to the station by a single rope, his only lifeline in a world that has disappeared. In this moment of absolute crisis, something remarkable occurs. The petty rivalries, the quiet resentments, they all evaporate. The isolation is shattered by a singular, collective purpose: survival. They cease to be 45 fractured individuals. They become one crew. Engineers work feverishly on the generator. The station leader directs the response, her voice a firm, calm anchor in the chaos. And on the radio, a voice reaches out to the man in the storm, guiding him home, step by agonizing step. The power is restored. The crisis passes. The station hums back to life. But the true test wasn't the failing generator. It was the human spirit. When faced with a genuine disaster, they didn't turn on each other. They turned to each other. They didn't fall apart. They came together. Why does this matter? Because Antarctica is a microcosm of our world. It's a rehearsal for future challenges on this planet and on others. It teaches us that when we are isolated, under pressure, our greatest weakness and our most profound strength come from the exact same place: each other. You don't go to the end of the world to find yourself. You go there to understand, in the most fundamental way, that you cannot survive alone. The true isolation test isn't about enduring loneliness. It's about discovering the will to connect when everything, even the world itself, is trying to pull you apart. There are countless stories of science, survival, and discovery waiting to be told from the most extreme places on Earth. Which one should we explore next? Let us know in the comments below.